Yoli Childs and Eric Mika. Rose the senior, everyone else sophomores and freshmen. And Dave Rose, 298 career wins. He's 98-8 here on BYU TV. The keys to the game are presented by Smith Auto Company in Spanish Fork. Smith Auto Company, a family tradition since 1924 for the Lions.
Well, they need to force some turnovers. BYU was careless with the ball in the loss in their last game, and if they can get in that mindset where the Cougars get tentative, that would help them force some turnovers and limit BYU runs. Well, they do that by not turning the ball over themselves. Mike Dunlap told us, you can't turn it over and give them runouts and let them get easy buckets. And for BYU, they have to take care of the basketball. Against Santa Clara, 18 turnovers really cost them. And they got to guard without fouling. In the first meeting between these two teams, LMU got a big lead in that first half because Eric Mika was on the bench with fouls. This team has to be able to guard without fouling.
BYU won that game 81-76 on New Year's Eve afternoon, but they trailed by 18 in the first half. Now time for the rematch in Provo, and the Cougars control the opening tip. LJ Rose just 3 points combined in the last 2 games for Dave Rose. We'll see what Rose comes up with tonight as Mika, the league's second leading scorer, drops in the first shot of the night.
And LMU did a really good job in that first meeting of getting to him with double teams, coming from different places and causing him some problems.
Open three is left short by Eric Johansson. Fight for the rebound. Child saves it to Haas, and the Cougars come running. There's contact, and Johansson picks up his first foul. And BYU will have it out of bounds. Eric Mika coming in averaging 20.5 points and 9.6 rebounds. What a year.
And when he starts off and knocks down a face-up jump shot, now it really gives you some problems because he causes the most problem when it's back to his basket like he is here and he faces up. Hard to double team if he shoots over the top.
Childs! Nice dish from Mika. 6'10" with good vision of everything down low, and Childs wide open for a dunk.
Well, high-low has been really good to BYU. The double team came away from Yoli Child, and immediately Mika recognizes and gets the ball out.
Touch with it, working on Haas into the lane. Leaves it, swatted by Mika as Johnson is denied. Now it's Haas, passes on the three, into Mika for 2. He'll go to the line and shoot a couple of free throws. Very energetic start for the Cougars.
Well, the help defense was coming from the baseline, and Mika put the ball on the floor and took it high. That really confused the communication of this LMU defense and left Yoli Child wide open for an easy dunk.
First foul on Shamar Johnson, a senior out of Pensacola, Florida. So Mika at the line, 78% on the season. Very smooth approach. Such a different free throw shooter, and we've talked about it all season. His freshman year, he was in the 50s. And then after 2 years in Rome, back, spent all summer working on what he thought would be the key to his game, and that's success at the free throw line, and boy, has he been right. Childs with the foul on the rebound attempt, his first. It'll be LMU ball down by 5. But when Mika's hitting free throws, it makes him so much more aggressive down low.
Yeah, your mindset is that, hey, I'm just going to go at the basket, and if I get fouled, that's fine, because I'll make buckets there. And when he was a freshman, I think he was concerned about going hard because he didn't want to be on the free throw line. It was painful.
It's painful for all of us. Now everyone's like, oh, good, he got fouled. That's what practice can do for anyone's game. Strong to the basket is Johnson over Mika, getting his first 2. LMU is on the board. Haas has it taken away. Johansson. Quick hands for the freshman. This is an interesting LMU team. They've lost 6 one-point games in the last 12 games. The last 3 games, they have done a full court press from start to finish as Steve Haney drops in a 3.
And he's taken the most attempts from out there. That makes him now 38 of 103. Just over 37%.
Tied up at 5. We asked Coach Dunlap, hey, are you gonna press tonight? He goes, there's some teams you can press in the league, and there's some teams you can't. He goes, probably not here in Provo, as Rose gets it to climb in for his first 2.
And we will see some probably to change up the tempo, but not a steady diet of press defensively, because BYU wants to run in this building, and they're very good at running in this building.
One thing we will see are 12 Lions. He plays 12, and they all get significant minutes. Haney over Childs for another 3. He's got 6, and the Lions lead it by 1. And here comes that full court pressure.
Let's make it 39 made threes for Haney now. And well, they've added some good three-point shooters to this basketball team in the offseason.
Mika back to Childs. Yoli can't regroup, loses it into the hands of Johnson.
This is a Lions team that averages almost 7 steals a game, very similar to BYU in that regard.
Brown throws it away after banging into Emery. Cougars get the ball down by 1.
There was an opportunity for points off of turnovers that the Lions didn't take advantage of. They go down and turn it over themselves.
18 turnovers for BYU at Santa Clara on Thursday, the most since the Bakersfield game in December. And the Broncos beat the Cougars for the first time in 17 games as Mika drops in another. He's got 5.
Yeah, when he's doing that, I don't know how you're going to defend him. If you put a big on him, he's just way too quick for your typical 6'10", 6'11" guy. If you put a smaller guy, he'll just go down and post you up and just muscle you down low.
Into the lane, Mika left his feet, and Boy Toch took advantage, and Eric picks up his first. Our score box is brought to you by Brady Industries, a provider of commercial cleaning supplies and equipment. Brady Industries Clean Solutions, a tradition for generations. Toch is a senior out of Omaha, Nebraska, leads the team with 24 steals. He averages 11 points a game.
And he's played big in some big games, and their loss to Gonzaga, 19 points. He got hot in that one, so likes the spotlight.
Free throw line hasn't been his friend.
Yeah,
he's 54%, but a lane violation is going to give him an extra shot.
It's been a struggle for him there, but he's one of these guys that with a year under his belt has really increased his production. Averaged 3.7 points in 12 minutes a game last year, and this year he's averaging 11.4 points a game. Huge production increase.
Can't take advantage. And another lane violation on Mika. That's his second. Let's take a look at what's going on down there.
Yeah, he's stepping in before that ball leaves the hand.
Now Mika moves over to the other side.
Well, and watch Toch. He kind of delays right. That's probably why he doesn't make free throws. He takes it up. It's almost like Charles Barkley's golf swing. There's a hitch in it, and it shouldn't be there. It should be one smooth thing from the floor up.
Except his free throws aren't dangerous.
That's right. No, and I should never say that. Nothing is as ugly as Charles Barkley's golf swing.
Mika fouled by Johnson. Johnson's second. So Toch got 4 free throws to make 2, and he got 2 to go down. LMU's up by 1. The Cougars will have the ball out of bounds, and Jovanovic, who we featured a moment ago, checks in. He had 12 points against the Cougars in Los Angeles. That's 6'11" out of Serbia. So he'll be assigned to deal with Mika, and that's our size matchup we've been waiting to see as Nick Emery drops in his first shot.
BYU so effective, not just this year, over the years. It's been a trademark of Dave Rose coach teams that they're very good with their out-of-bounds plays.
Talked to Emery before the game. He said his knee's feeling a little bit better. Missed dunk, but you got to admire the effort by Toch. Now a 3 ball goes in for Brown, and the Lions are back up by 2. Back to Mika. Rose will wait for him. He's got it again. Eric loses it to Childs. And Childs cashes in with his second dunk.
And that's where it should have gone anyhow. It kind of went by accident. He lost it, but the double team was split by Mika, and now the help defense was coming right off of Yoli Child. That pass should have been thrown over there before it ever got knocked away. Sometimes you just get lucky.
Tied up at 13, a very entertaining start here tonight. BYU and LMU. Brown. This is Haney. He's dropped a couple of threes already. Brown looks into Jovanovic from the corner. This will be a foul against LMU. Jovanovic picks up his first. He handed the ball over and then set an illegal screen. Timeout, 5 minutes gone. Yoli Childs, 2 dunks for the Cougars in a 13-13 game on BYU TV. BYU basketball is brought to you by Smith Auto Company. BYU basketball is brought to you by Smith Auto Company, a family tradition since 1924. Ramada Inn, do your thing, leave the rest to us. DexterLaw.com for help when you need it most. And by Deseret First Credit Union, sharing your values. Tied up at 13, there's BYU football coach Kalani Sitake. We'll hear from him at halftime as he addresses the crowd. National Signing Day is on Wednesday. LMU coach Mike Dunlap played at LMU, assistant coach there, former coach of the NBA's Charlotte Bobcats, 360 collegiate victories, 32 in his 3rd season at LMU. And this year, Blaine, he's used 11 different starting lineups to do it.
And he said for us, as we talked to him this evening, he said for us, it's just getting some guys out there and see who's going to be the guy, because it's been different guys.
Brown steals it away from Haas. Haas knocks it away to the hands of Bryant. Elijah Bryant into the game for the first time, so's Davin Gwynn. Haas for 3. Fouled. He'll go to the line and shoot 3 as Brandon Brown charged out there to contest the shot, and Brown picks up his first.
This is twice now we've seen LMU force a turnover and then turn it over on the other end. You see the slap on the wrist there as Brown was trying to close out on Haas.
Free throw miss. Jeffrey McClendon into the game for LMU, and Munis Tudu checks in for the Lions as well. Haas just 79% from the free throw line. That's still pretty good, but considering where Big Brother was for his career, that's a number I'm sure he would like to improve on. It's the second. Tyler Haas was as good a free throw shooter as we've ever seen.
And he's another guy that understood how to attack the basket, get fouled, and get to the free throw line. So he's a high volume free throw shooter and money when he got to the line.
TJ gets 2 of the 3. BYU by 2. Haney picked up by Gwynn. This is Touch and Bryant. It's a very athletic matchup, and Elijah takes the ball away. Emery passes on the 3 and is fouled on the drive by Tutu out of Windsor, Canada. That's his first. We talked about a lot of Lions into the game. More subs come in. And now Matthias Markusen, 7'1" freshman out of Sweden, is into the game. And Jovanovic will come out. And Trevor Manuel checks into the game for the first time. Haney comes out. And while we're in the spirit of it, Kelvin Amayo checks in, and somebody else checked out.
For LMU, elevation shouldn't be a problem. When you're playing that many guys, your wind should be just fine. For them, it's about finding chemistry and who's going to be the guy that's going to carry him offensively on a given night.
Haas drives in and lays it in. Got the advantage on McClendon, and TJ now with 4.
You asked Dave Rose, when a team plays a lot of guys like this, what pressure does that put on you? And he said, the guys on the floor have to be aware of their scouting reports and know who they need to guard out there.
High off the glass goes the 7-footer. Ball knocked out of bounds off of Bryant, and it'll stay LMU basketball. Here's TJ a moment ago as the Cougars on a 6-0 run.
Turned the corner, and the help from the big was just a little bit late. Didn't close down to the baseline and help, and that allowed Haas to turn the corner and get right to the front of the rim.
Emery contesting with McClendon, picks up his first. Foul troubles really hurt BYU on the road. They haven't had that kind of problem here at home. Dave Rose kind of bemoaning over that too. He said, we can't get into foul trouble because I got younger guys on the bench replacing the already young guys on the floor. Emery with his first. Tutu with it. Shot clock's at 10. Trying to shake Emery. Up for 2, and he knocks it in. Good looking shot for Munis Tutu, his first 2. 17-15. Haas quickly down the floor. BYU hasn't missed a shot. They are 7 for 7. Emery. Nice pass to Mika. Eric taps it out to Gwynn for 3, an air ball, and their first miss of the night. Mayo with it. One thing you don't see on BYU's roster that's all over LMU's are seniors and juniors. Up with a wild right hand and drawing contact. Manuel's fouled. He's going to go to the line. Gwynn got a hold of him, picks up his first.
Well, Trevor Manuel had a very good first outing against BYU down in LA, 16.7 rebounds. He also played really well against St. Mary's. He seems to play against teams that have good, good bigs inside. Against St. Mary's, we had a career game, 18 points, very effective.
78% free throw shooter. For more on all these Lions, Spencer.
Yeah, you and Blaine were talking about the mass substitutions from Mike Dunlap. That has been the regularity for the Lions this season. They used 11 in the win over Pacific coming into the game against BYU. They've only used less than 10 players in a game twice this season, so expect to see a lot of them all night long.
All right, Spencer, thank you. Manuel starting his career at Oregon. A lot of these guys on LMU squad started somewhere else. Haney, Central Florida. Jovanovic, as you mentioned, Blaine, Hawaii. Amayo, Iona. Manuel, Oregon.
And Manuel only played that first semester at Oregon, so he transferred, which made him eligible at the beginning of this semester. So missed the first part, so he's a sophomore eligible right now.
Emery recovers and gets fouled. He'll go to the free throw line. And it's Trevor Manuel with his first.
And Manuel, coming out of high school, big-time recruit, 4-star, Class A All-Stater back in Lansing, Michigan. Played at Magic Johnson's high school, Everett High School there.
That's a standard.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody will ever live up to the standard at Everett High School. That one's a hard one.
Emery.
National Player of the Year in high school.
It's a rare miss from Emery now, 42 of 50 from the line. Gwynn's out, Childs back in. Nick is second in free throw percentage in the league. Gets 1 of 2 on that visit. 3 points for Emery. BYU leads it by 1. Mayo in some trouble, outlets to Tutu. And Elijah Bryant hands it over to TJ Haas. It's a 2-point BYU lead. Haas trying to shake McClendon. Now he does. Leaves it for Childs. And Yoli fouled hard. A couple of Lions were in there. McClendon came out of the stack. He picks up the foul, his first.
Haas on attack, drawing that defense. See all the heads that were turned to Haas. Then he dishes the ball over. to Yoli Child, who knows what to do. And Yoli Child knows to get it up on the rim.
Stephen Byu is in, and Hawes will sit out. A few more Lions checked in.
And Yoli Childs is a freshman, a little like Eric Meek as a freshman, struggling from that free throw line. 58% this season.
Toch and Brown return for LMU.
Mika, his freshman year, was just under 62%, so very, very similar.
Brown splits the defense, up for two. Too strong. Now it's Brown again. Toch with the left hand. Childs brings it down. Now the Cougars quickly down the floor. Byu for three from the corner. And Stephen Byu drops his 7th long ball of the year. Quickly down the other end, Mika denies Toch and knocks it out of bounds. And that gets the crowd fired up. And we've got a timeout. 11:40 to go here in the first half. And Eric Mika making his presence known on both ends of the floor here on BYU TV. BYU's largest lead, 21-16. Cougars on a 10-3 run. Let's go inside the play, Blaine.
Watch Eric Mika do a great job of reading the double team. He got the ball down low on this play, and the double team is coming from the low side. He takes one dribble high, and there's Yoli Child. Because of the double team rotation and LMU not getting back down low, that weak side rotation should get in front of him. Doesn't happen. Mika finds him. And here's how LMU, they got a great start. 3 of 4 from 3. And Haney, who's their designated 3 shooter, gets a down screen on Yoli Child. Can't get out there in time. Leave him just a little bit of room. He's going to knock it down. Well-designed play. Down screen. Haney comes high. That's a catch-and-shoot 3 for the Bomber from outside.
We saw a lot of that on Thursday with Childs just a little late getting out on three-point shooters, and Santa Clara made BYU pay. They made 14 of them. The freshman still bringing his game along. Brown from the corner. High arcing shot. Another rebound for Elijah Bryant. Byu hit a 3 a moment ago. Here's Childs. Spins up with the right hand. Mika goes down, and Manuel brings down the rebound. Toch into the lane. Look out.
Yeah, he is an explosive player. We've seen him get to the rim a couple times and not be able to finish. No problem that time with a two-hand throw down. He can really get off the floor.
Brought out a ooh from the crowd as Emery launches a 3. Buries it from the top of the key. Nick now with 6 and 59 threes on the year. He and TJ Haas combined 2 of 12 from 3 on Thursday night. And at home, so much different. They'll figure that out as they continue to develop. Brown. Long rebound out to Emery. Byu with Mika coming. Mika with 7. Timeout, LMU. And a good-looking dish from the freshman Stephen Bayo. And the Cougars lead it by 8.
And one of the things we talked about as keys for LMU is to limit the runs for BYU. They do this at home where they just get out and they start getting in transition. The crowd gets into it. I like this timeout by Mike Dunlap to settle the crowd down, settle his team down, and not let this run get away from him. But beautiful transition bucket. They get the outlet, advance the ball up the floor, and find Mika, who runs the floor as well as any big man in the country and finishes at the rim.
Mika now with 7. Mika and Childs are 1st and 3rd, respectively, among rebounders in the league. They're 1st and 2nd among shot blockers, and both are ranked among the top 10 in field goal percentage. Childs is 6th at 56%. Mika's 9th at 54% with 13 double-doubles. That's quite a tandem. And coming into the season, we figured it'd be BYU's guards because of Emery and Hawes, and Elijah Bryant was healthy coming in before the injury. But boy, it's turned into the inside guys, hasn't it?
Well, and with Mika, when you're shooting that kind of percentage, when you're up in the mid-50s and scoring over 20 points a game, he doesn't take bad shots, and he's still scoring 20+.
Good-looking move and dish. Jovanovic, his first 2.
Came up and set a screen and then slid down the key. Very well read.
Bayo tries to answer back, and Jovanovic just slaps it away. Spencer had his ear in that LMU huddle. Spencer.
Mike Dunlap, the Lions head coach, reiterated it's something that he's been saying to them all game long, and that is motion to post entry. We just saw it on that play with Jovanovic. He also said during that last quick timeout, get back. That's all I heard in the huddle from 3 different coaches. Get back against BYU. Dave?
Thanks, Spencer. First foul on Bayo. And Brandon Brown's going to throw it in from under the basket. Haney back into the game. He had a couple of threes early. He's got the ball right now. Under 10 minutes to go here in the first half. BYU by 6. Last month, the Cougars were down 18 to these Lions in the first half in Los Angeles. Childs picks up the foul, trying to slow down Jovanovic. That's number 2 on Childs, and Eric Mika quickly gets up off the bench just seconds after sitting down, and Childs will come out.
It was interesting when we were talking to Mike Dunlap, and you asked him, what was the difference between the first half and the second half? He goes, we should stop making free throws. He says, it's like you played the front 9 and you're putting it really well, and then you lost your putter on the back 9.
3 ball is off by Johansson, and we asked him how his putting's going now. He goes, well, we shot 68% the other night.
That's not too bad for us, and this is a team that shoots 62.6 on the season.
Bryant does what he does best. His first 2, BYU by 8. Bryant didn't play in the first meeting in LA. Jovanovic and Mika, 6'11" against 6'10". Now it's Brown. Right side, Johansson got a good look. And here come the Cougars.
I mean, those are key plays for the Lions. To win in the road, they're going to have to make those open threes.
Bayo driving, dishing to Gwynn. The foul was before the pass, and I think it's going to go, let's see, we're still waiting for who's it going against. It's going to go against LMU. Boy, it was number 10 against number 10, and they signaled foul against number 10, so it's against Brown.
That's one that could have gone either way on that. It was right there at that point where, is that a block or is that a charge? Brown got to the spot outside of the restricted area, so he got his feet outside the restricted area, maybe just not there quite long enough as the official saw it.
And Brown gets his second foul, so the leading scorer for the Lions goes to the bench. Bayo goes to the free throw line.
That's one of those tough ones because I couldn't have argued with it if he would have called that a charge. I mean, it was that close.
Bayo 35% from the free throw line, 7 of 18 on the year. Didn't score in 18 minutes against the Lions in LA. He's got 5 points here in the first half. BYU by 10. There's certainly been a pacing change for LMU, hasn't it? It's like, yeah, you know what? We're not running tonight. Jovanovic, nice move to get around Mika.
Beautiful move.
4 points for Jovanovic.
Well, his big game this year came against Colorado State. Saw the tape, and then he was 9 of 11 from the field, 21 points.
Mika to answer back. Good recovery defense by the Lions. Rare miss from Mika and the Cougars tonight. They've had a hot start. Jovanovic again. Leaves it for Haney. Boy, that one had to go way up to get over Gwynn. Rebound Bryant. Here's Eric. Up over Jovanovic. And Haney. Check that Johansson on the rebound. 2-2 with it. Gets it back from Haney. And a little push by Bryant as Toch came flying in. That'll be the first on Bryant. Takes us to a timeout. 7:40 to go here in the half. 30-22 Cougars here on BYU TV. BYU basketball is brought to you by the BYU Store, the official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. Brady Industries, clean solutions, a tradition for generations. And by Ahern Equipment Rentals. Your next job is our priority. Coming up at halftime, BYU football coach Kalani Sitake will stand in front of the crowd and give them a pep talk here in the cold, freezing days of January. And get everyone ready for National Signing Day on Wednesday. Cougars went 8-4 in Kalani's first year, and the team will kick off the season August 26th at home against Portland State Blaine. Then they're going to go to Houston for a showdown with LSU at Reliant Stadium on September 2nd. The same stadium that has the Super Bowl next Sunday.
That's right. That's fun. And BYU's got to play this last couple seasons some really great NFL stadiums and some great venues. That's part of independence. They kind of go on a tour of the country every year.
It's a lot of fun. Tanner Mangum and Butch Powell will address the crowd as well. So we look forward to seeing that at halftime. Toch gets both free throws to go. And the Lions pull within 6 points for time.
And this LMU team, they started out 3 for 4. And now they've missed 6 straight. They're 3 of 10 from 3-point. And they're getting good looks. They're just not knocking them down on the road. And that's what they need to stay in this.
Turnover BYU, bad pass from Bryant. Jovanovic, good give and go. And there's Toch again, dunking in his 8th point of the half. Full court pressure now for the Cougars to deal with. Caught him off guard, but they recover. Now it's Haas into the lane, off the glass and in. One in contact with Johansson, didn't get it, but TJ now with 6 points. You notice LMU has always had at least one guy who's more athletic than everybody else. And this year it's Toch. Boy, he's put on a show as Bayo loses the ball out of bounds, but it's off of LMU and the Cougars will keep it.
Mike Dunlap told us that He's recruiting guys that are really athletic, maybe even if they're a little undersized. And Toch isn't undersized. He's a 6'6" guard that can fly, guard forward type of guy. And here's Hawes on the other end, getting it done. He had a 3-on-2, so he knew he was going to get one-on-one with no help and attack the rim.
Emery and Rose are back in for the Cougars. TJ finds a lane to the basket. Can't get the reverse to go down. Haney hands it over to Tutu. They're waiting for Jovanovic. Now he's got the ball. Out it goes to Toch. Johansson, now they'll go to Jovanovic again. Challenging Mika, and he knocks down the jump shot. He's got 6. It's a 4-point game.
And Jovanovic has a very polished offensive game. He's good facing up. He's very patient with what he does. He's not unbelievably athletic, but a 6'11". And that one's going to go on the sideline and back to LMU out of bounds.
TJ Haas pleading his case that he was knocked into. There was a lot of contact, and that's why the crowd is all fired up. There's the...
And what the official is saying, hey, before that contact came, Haas's foot was on the line. He blew that whistle before that ever came and raised his hand and said, no, he was out of bounds.
Under 6 minutes to go. Things tightening up. Another good move to the basket by Toch. Great assist. Toch with 10. And now we've got a whistle. And this is against Toch.
And so,
a technical foul.
He gets the...
I don't know.
Boy, I didn't see too much right there.
Technical foul on Toch. And Emery's going to go to the free throw line.
And we're close enough to scores table. He says on 22 for taunting. So, and you know, really, you go in there, you make a great play. All you need to do is just turn and run back down the floor. Nothing needs to be said. It was a great play. He's really reading BYU's defense well. He's coming out for the basketball, and whenever he's overplayed, he makes that back cut. Teammates finding him for easy buckets, and he just needs to turn around and play D. I didn't think there was much there.
No.
But you can be sure that there's nothing there if you just turn around and run down the floor after you make a bucket.
Gives BYU an opportunity, a 5-point play after the layup if they can hit a 3 here. Leading by 4. Emery. Knocked away and off of Nick, so Toch kind of redeems himself there as he slaps the ball off of Emery and out of bounds. Lions on a 10-4 run. Johansson, Tutu. Well, if I'm the Lions, I'm going to get the ball to number 22 and just let him do something. Jovanovic with it now.
And they did a nice job of playing through the post, did Jovanovic in this one.
Johansson, shot clock's at 7. Tutu looks up, goes up over Haas and knocks it in. It's a 2-point game. 4 points now for Muniz Tutu. Cougars down the floor, and it's a steal by Tutu. 8th turnover of the half for BYU. Now it's Haney over Rose. Off-balance shot, good, and the foul. The foul will go against LMU, but the basket counts. It's Jovanovic banging down low. We'll pick up the foul, but we're tied at 34 on the Haney make. So that's the second foul on Jovanovic.
The call is the ball's already in the air, and then Jovanovic reaches out and pushes on Mika, who goes to the floor. So with the ball in the air, they'll count the basket, and then that'll be a foul on Jovanovic, and Mika will go down to the other end and shoot free throws.
Mika with 7 points. And a strong few minutes for the Lions on a 14-5 run.
Well, and LMU, you mentioned earlier, Dave, has been in every ball game, and they've lost and won 1-point ball games. Even though this is really, it's the 3rd year of this program for Mike Dunlap. He says it's the 2nd because they had 9 new guys last year.
Right.
But there's a lot of veteran guys, transfers, D1 transfers, guys that are poised and play with poise. Veteran guys, juniors and seniors.
Mika gets them both. 9 points. He goes out. Braden Shaw checks in. Eric hasn't been out all but 13 seconds here in the first half. So at 5:02, he goes to the bench. Childs is on the bench with 2 personal fouls. That's why Shaw is in. Under 5 minutes to play. Johansson. Haney, there's 2-2. This is Touch missing the 3 from the corner.
BYU goes to a zone and trying to change things up and cause LMU to think about what they want to do to attack it offensively.
That foul will go against Johansson, his second. That'll send Haas to the free throw line. I think BYU got away from against Santa Clara, and we've seen it when they've been on the road, is they settle for shots outside instead of taking it in, even when they're not hitting. It's a good free throw shooting team, and when you settle for the outside shot, you can see what happens when they go through dry spells like we saw Thursday, as opposed to, hey, I'm not hitting, so I'm going in. Get free throws.
As you mentioned, this is a 74% free throw shooting team, so the line is where they should want to be, especially this guard line. And so, yeah, shots aren't going down. Go find points by attacking the rim, getting to the free throw line, finishing at the rim, and dishing to those big guys.
7 for TJ. 3-point Cougar lead.
BYU stays in that zone right now. Second time down the floor that they're in zone.
Manuel for 3. Touch on the rebound. Shot clock didn't reset, so it is at 10.
It didn't hit the rim, hit the top of the backboard.
Haney to beat the shot clock. Off the front end, Touch tries to chase it down, knocks it out of bounds.
Boy, Touch has had a very good first half. You know, really we're seeing his athleticism, his quickness, and playing with a lot of energy in this first half.
Rose and Touch. Haas came from out of bounds and turns it over. It's the second time Haas has been caught out of bounds right in front of the LMU bench for a turnover. Now Amayo checks in, and good minutes for Munis. 2-2, he comes out. 4 minutes to go here in the first half. BYU at 15-7, 6-3 in the league. LMU at 10-10, 3-6 in the WCC. Rose steals it away. Emery gives it right back to Touch. Unselfish play there when probably should have shot it. And now LMU gives it right back to BYU as Amayo throws it away. Timeout, 3:39 to go, 37-34 Cougars here on BYU TV. Our game summary is presented by Deseret First Credit Union. Deseret First, your values, your timeline, your financial future. Blaine, the Cougars came out, made their first 7 shots.
Well, they're almost 67% from the field here in the first half. They really got it going right out of the gate. A good shot selection. You're thinking, how can a team be shooting 67% and not be up by more than just 3 points? That's because Loyola Marymount's getting it done on the little things. That 4 offensive rebounds, BYU has none. They only have 6 turnovers. BYU has 10. So you add that up, that's 8 extra possessions for LMU. So when you get 8 extra possessions, you can shoot 45% and stay in a game. And that's the difference in this one right now. The little things that LMU is doing, that's kept them in the ball game. Hustle plays, little things will keep you in a game on the road.
They were down by 10 and on the brink, and they have fought back. Haas open for 3, top of the key. Followed by Bryant. Elijah now with 4.
When the ball goes up, you got to find your guy and put a body on him and not just turn and look to the rim, and nobody put a body on Elijah Bryant.
BYU settle into a zone. Touch. Hands it over to the 7-footer. They go downside. Manuel over Mika. Long arms of Trevor Manuel. He's got 3 points. Emery from way out there. Touch on the rebound in a 3-point game.
That's a no-pass set offensively for BYU on a deep 3, not in rhythm.
Mika out with it to LJ Rose, who tries to tip it to no one, and Manuel's there. Bryant stopped, and Rose was in no man's land. Another turnover for BYU. Missed opportunity. They've got 11 here in the half. Had 18 on Thursday.
I think 11 is a good number for BYU in terms of turnovers for a game. That ought to be a target. Somewhere between 10 and 12 ought to be the max.
Haney over Emery. A whistle.
You know, BYU is an up-tempo team. They play at a faster pace, so they're going to get more possessions. So I'd be okay with 12 turnovers instead of 10.
Bryant is heading down the floor disgruntled. The foul's going to go against Markison with an elbow to Elijah Bryant. And that's why Bryant kind of came out of the pack dazed and confused. And they may take a look at the elbow, as we often see, whether or not it was a flagrant elbow or not. Let's take a look. There's the shot by Markison with a right hand. Maybe we see that again, and Bryant goes down. Didn't look like the world's biggest shot, but there it's right there. Just kind of a.
And I don't know that he put his arm out there to clear him off. It's hard to know intent, but it sure didn't look like he intended to throw an elbow in.
Right, and Bryant didn't go down. He just went back and grabbed his face and finished the cell. So that's what the officials are looking at. Spencer, what do you have?
A couple of defensive notes on the BYU side. We saw Boytoch get off to a very quick start. He slowed down just a little bit, and that's because BYU's defense trying to throw some specific looks at him, switching between zone and when they go to man-to-man, switching the on-ball screen when Toch is involved. We saw him break away from Stephen Bayo on a breakdown, but that's something to watch for as this game continues. BYU mixing things up defensively to slow down Boytoch.
Thank you, Spencer. I think back to our conversation with Dave Rose this afternoon. He said, look, this is going to be a real physical game. LMU likes to get physical, and they got all those bodies to throw in there and get after you. And Markison at 7'1", and Manuel at 6'9", and Jovanovic at 6'11". They got a lot of size to do that. There's Elijah going to go have a word with Markison, and then the officials got in there a little bit. And then he walked down the floor, and we haven't had anything happen since. So the officials have taken a look at the video. Mike Dunlap's getting an explanation, and Dave Rose as well. And they're just going to call it a foul, and that's it. Flagrant 1 is the call, so had a little more intent to it. So Elijah Bryant will get a free throw.
So
flagrant 2 and you're done.
Yeah, so flagrant 1 will give him free throws. It's like it becomes in essence like a technical foul. You shoot the free throws, 2 free throws without the teams on the line.
Bryant 78% on the year. Leaves it short.
And this is just as you described, Dave. If it was flagrant 2, the player is done, is ejected, and so the flagrant 1
Not sure.
Like an intentional foul, you get 2 free throws and the basketball. And Mike Dunlap having a conversation
with Markison.
Yeah.
That might have bugged Bryant a little more than we thought. We haven't seen him miss 2 free throws in a row all season.
And you know, like we said, it didn't look like he threw an elbow, but he stuck that arm out there, and the elbow contacted Elijah Bryant in the face. And those rules are put in place to protect the players.
Here's Bryant up with the shot. Brought down by Jovanovic. 3-point game, 2 minutes to go here in the first half in Provo.
So BYU now, we've seen 4 straight times on the floor in a zone. One time 2-3, or the first 2 times a 2-3. This time they come back and they play an odd front zone with a point out front. Give them different looks, so not just a zone, but a couple of different zones for them to think about how they want to attack.
Ball off Emery's foot. That's why they stopped the play. And LMU keeps the possession.
So, and then they come right out of the out-of-bounds play, and they match up man-to-man. So switching defenses, trying to take away the flow of that offense of the Lions.
Brown over Hawes. Bryant on the rebound. Quickly down the floor, 4 rebounds for Bryant. Elijah up with the left hand. Can't get it to go. A bit out of control. Jovanovic on the rebound. A tough couple of minutes for Bryant. Brown up off the glass and in. It's a 1-point game. Nice move for the senior out of Levine, Arizona.
Brown, the leading scorer, and he needs to get it going. 14 points a game.
He's got 5 so far tonight. Mika calling for the ball down low. Now Emery goes to him. Double team for Eric. Now they back out of it. It's just he and Jovanovic. Mika. Turnaround shot, air ball.
And they waited for that double team to come until he put the ball on the floor. So LMU is going to double team him on the pass. And
Brown, right past Hawes. Timeout, Dave Rose. LMU with their first lead since it was 13-11.
Dave Rose not happy about the communication on that one.
Bayo's going to check in. And we see the speed of Brandon Brown dashing to the basket. Right in front of the head coach.
Yeah, that was Dave Rose's immediate timeout to have a conversation about communicating. And
big day coming up next Wednesday, National Signing Day. Full coverage on BYU Sports Nation. Live reports, interviews with Kalani Sitake, Ty Detmer, and Eliza Tuiaki. Wall-to-wall BYU football on BYU Sports Nation with Spencer Linton and Jerem Jordan. That's Wednesday. I mean, you can see him every day, Monday through Friday at high noon and 6 o'clock Eastern time on BYU TV and BYU Radio. Dave McCann, Blaine Fowler, and Spencer Linton here in Provo tonight. 40-39, LMU by 1 here late in the first half. We'll hear from Dave Rose, also from Kalani Sitake and Mike Dunlap, all at halftime. Mika passes out of the double team. Lots of banging all over the floor. Now it's Bayo. Top Bryant, 3-pointer. Short, Gwynn. Emery for 3. That's no good. Fight for the rebound. And this is going to go against LMU. And the foul will go against McClendon, his second. A flurry of shots.
so Mika had inside position on that when you saw it. He slid over, trying to get that offensive board. McClendon behind him put a forearm in the back and pushed Mika under the rim. The official there making the call, and now Mika will get 2 free throws.
Chance to get into double figures here in the first half and give BYU the lead back. They've had it for most of the half. Free throw good. We're tied at 40. 10 points for Mika. Haney, that 3-point shooting threat, checks in. McClendon comes out for LMU. Shot clock is off as Mika gets ready for his second free throw. 11 for Eric. BYU by 1. Final shot of the half coming up. 2-2 picked up by Gwynn. Stolen away by Gwynn. Out to Emery. Nick with the left hand. Off the glass and in. Emery with 10. Here come the Lions. And the shot won't go as the half expires. And BYU leads it 43-40 here at halftime. Head coach Dave Rose standing by with Spencer.
Coach, you called that timeout with under a minute to play to kind of reset your team. What'd you tell them in that timeout?
Well, we're having a hard time dealing with their quickness right now on both ends of the floor. On the offensive end, they're getting their hands on balls, and we got what looks like a free shot, and they are getting their hands on it and knocking it out of bounds. Defensively, we're having a hard time staying in front of them. But we had a nice little run there to finish the half.
11 turnovers for your team in the first half. You're up by 3. How do you clean that up in the second half?
Well, we just got to be stronger with the ball. And know the way they play is they're going to try.
Time. Let's look at the numbers, Blaine. Break them down.
Well, BYU's getting it done from 2 and from the free throw line. Then look at the disparity in free throws. BYU on attack, 13 of 20. 20 attempts to just 6 for the Lions. They're making them, 5 or 6. Mike Dunlap told us they had to make them. Well, they're doing that. They're just not getting there enough.
All right, Spencer Linton a moment ago with LMU head coach Mike Dunlap.
Coach, defensively, you forced 11 BYU turnovers in the first half. What did you like most about your defensive effort there?
Well, I think we had to do a lot of recovery. They're driving the ball at the rim, and so I just think all those 50-50 balls and the scraps that we had with them, it's very intense in here, is good.
What are you trying to do offensively in the second half here to erase this 3-point BYU lead?
Well, we had a lot of luck getting the ball inside and playing through the paint and driving, so we've got to keep that up.
Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Spencer, thank you. Mike Dunlap in his 3rd season, 17th as a collegiate coach with 360 career victories. LMU with the ball as we start the second half. BYU leads it by 3. What was the Cougar plan of attack in the locker room?
Well, they're going to continue to be on attack and get to the free throw line. Then defensively, they come right out in that zone. Remember, they finished the half playing a lot of zone. That seemed to slow this LMU's ability to drive into the paint down just a little bit. And just as I say that, how about a drive right through the zone for Boy Toch, as he does a nice job of getting a good shot at the rim.
Dozen points. Haas answers right back for 3. Lead was 1, it's back to 4. Quickly down the floor, Toch throws it down. My word.
He is so explosive. And we saw it in the first half on display. That was on Eric Mika, who was trailing him there. Threw it right down on top of the 6'10 Mika.
Mika off balance when he got the ball from Emery. Now it's Brown quickly on the run. Johansson up for 3. Too strong. Here come the Cougars. 46-44.
And LMU, good job getting back that time. Remember the last couple of timeouts.
Whoa! TJ
Boy,
Haas!
that was a heat check, Dave. That was a heat check, and the heat is on.
13 for Haas. That's the deepest 3 I think we've seen this season on this floor. It's the Toch and Haas show as Haney gets into things. Drops 2. Makes it a 3-point game. Haney's got 10.
Well, these two teams offensively, Dave, have come out knowing what they want to do and on attack. There's no hesitation.
Haas again? Not this time.
Yeah, that time it was a spin into contested 3, a little tougher.
Now it's Haney. Johansson deep in the corner. Toch, can he hit 3s? Misses.
Good ball movement, open shot, just not there. Toch, a 42% three-point shooter. Doesn't usually miss those wide open ones.
Emery trying to get there to Mika, and Eric, and the foul! Mika shows his strength down low, gets the contact, and finishes the shot as Toch picks up his 2nd. This a moment ago.
Yeah, this was Toch on the fast break, beats everybody down, and Mika, if you're gonna go finish against a big guy, then throw it down, and then Haas, that's the one that was almost on the sideline. And then here's this last play as Mika puts the ball on the floor, gets the foul on his way up. So he gets the bucket and an opportunity to make a 3-point play.
Jovanovic checks in for LMU, and Johansson is out. Cougars by 5. Mika finishes the 3-point play. Eric has 14.
Yeah, there was no feeling each other out here as they started the second half. Both teams came down on attack.
Haas swipes the ball away. Lost out of bounds. Emery tries to save it, but can't. So the Lions keep it.
Looked like a slide tackle right there by Emery to try to get that ball.
It's been a very energetic start, certainly on both sides. Brown left open for 3, and he makes the Cougars pay. 10 points now for Brandon Brown.
LMU hunted threes a little bit more than BYU in that first half, 15 attempts. I like that BYU wasn't just looking and hunting for threes. Only 7 3-point attempts in the first half, only made 2. LMU was 3 of 15 in that first half.
Rose directing traffic, finds Haas, open for 3. Off the front end and around the back into Toch's hands. Haney for 3. That's no good. Childs hands it back to Rose, and here we go the other way. Mika battling Jovanovic down on the low block. Childs with the lob, whistle and the foul. That'll go against Jovanovic as they battled for position. His third. We'll keep an eye on that. The senior out of Serbia picks up his third foul at the 17:04 mark. Cougar ball under the basket. Mika, lazy throw. Toch has got it. Emery prevents the layup, picks up the foul. Toch is going to go to the free throw line as Nick picks up his second. Our score box here in the second half is presented by Ramada Inn of St. George. Ramada Inn, you do your thing, leave the rest to us.
Remember what Dave Rose said to Spencer on his way out when Spencer asked him about the turnovers. He says you can't throw lazy passes. You've got to be strong to the basketball, so you've got to receive passes with strength, because LMU's going to try to take the basketball away. Toch, with his speed and his hand quickness, is going to be there. That was a lazy pass and a lazy receipt of the pass that turned into a turnover. Now Toch down, going to try to convert the second of these 2 free throws.
52-50. Lions have made it a habit of hanging in. Mika on the rebound. 15 points for Toch. Rose to Haas, cutting back door, and TJ draws contact and gets fouled. They won't give him the shot. It'll be Cougar ball out of bounds. Haas trying to sell it as Toch picks up his third. So Jovanovic and Toch, the 2 impact players for LMU tonight now, both with 3 fouls.
Well, and that's how they've had a presence in the paint, either throwing it into Jovanovic. They're going to have a moving screen that time.
That's going to go against Emery, and that's his third.
Yeah, their inside presence has either been thrown it into the post to Jovanovic or to have Toch attack the interior off the dribble. And so now they can't be quite as aggressive with 3 fouls.
Emery goes to the bench with 3 fouls. 2-point game. Here come the Lions.
BYU out of that zone now in a man-to-man.
Toch working with Haas. Here's Brown. Bayo's assigned Brown. Jovanovic with the right hand over Mika. Childs brings it down. Bayo out ahead. Up for 2.
Boy, that was a good pass with the perfect touch by LJ Rose on that one.
7 for Bayo. Brown loses the handle. Gets it back. Now it's Toch waiting for Jovanovic. 4 minutes of a frantic second half are gone. Toch. Bayo knocks it away. Mika back to Bayo. And the freshman is then fouled. 3 Lions on him. And Bayo having a good night. 4-point Cougar lead. McClendon picks up his third. Kalani Sitake joins us next. BYU basketball is brought to you by Smith Auto Company, a family tradition since 1924. Ramada Inn, do your thing, leave the rest to us. DexterLaw.com for help when you need it most. And by Deseret First Credit Union, sharing your values. BYU leading at 54-50 with 15:49 to go here in the second half. Dave Rose seeking career win number 299. We're joined by football coach Kalani Sitake, who in August will seek career win number 9. Rose has been around a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been around a long time, so yeah, I got to get some of his magic on my side.
Do you have much interaction with Coach Rose and the other head coaches in the program?
Yeah, and I can say that Tom Homo has done a great job as an athletic director of getting us all involved and motivating all the athletic teams to help each other. I've had many conversations with Coach Rose and his staff. You know, he has a great bunch of assistants there, so it's been really helpful for me being removed from BYU for a while, and it's been nice to have all the different coaches be available as a resource to me. So I'm very thankful for that.
So this has been a busy week for you, and I know you can't talk about specific recruits, but what's been the focus of this recruiting class?
Just get the best players that we can. You know, I think that we have a good nucleus to start with, and just trying to get all those X-factor type of players on the field and game-changing players, and we're looking forward. And we can get that with developing our guys, and we can get that with recruiting. But the characters got to come first, and then if our guys do everything right, it should work out where it'll work out on the field as well. So, yeah.
BYU by 6 after Childs knocks down the free throws. LMU on the attack. And Byu gets a piece of McClendon, and that'll send McClendon to the free throw line. Byu with his second foul. As a student, did you come hang out at basketball games?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I did it when I was a kid. I remember sitting up in that corner right there and watching all the great players, TJ's father, you know, and so there's a lot of great ones that played here, Michael Smith and Chapman at that time. So
yeah, we always talk about Tyler. We forget that Hawes's dad was a great player here, and had the kind of speed that we're seeing displayed by LMU out here tonight from their guard line. Lots of quickness out there on the floor for the Lions.
Elijah Bryant checks in. LJ Rose checks out. McClendon back at the line. LMU is 9th in the league in free throw shooting. They're going to need to hit some here in the second half. See Marty Haas looking on. First point of the game for McClendon, 56-51.
And here comes that pressure for LMU. And there's some people pressure just to take you out of your rhythm. LMU pressures to take the ball from you.
Haas in rhythm, knocks down the shot. TJ with 16.
Haas definitely came out of that locker room with a mindset to score.
sorry, I keep cheering over here.
No, that's okay. You're allowed to. You're allowed to.
McClendon with it, driving to the lane, swatted away. Bryant and Mika were there. Now it's Haas on the run for three. Too strong and over the backboard. And it'll be LMU basketball. Well, Wednesday is National Signing Day. What happens between tonight? I know you've got recruits here in the house. Contact ends, what, after tomorrow, and then you just wait for commitments?
Yeah, and we just give them time to make decisions. I think for the most part, we know the majority of the guys that are in the mix, but there's some out there that are still taking the every minute they can to make their decision, and they have every right for that. But we'll be available on the phone to talk to them and answer any questions and get them over the hump and sign with us.
Kalani, what is your sales pitch for BYU football?
Well, it's the people that's involved. That's the one thing when everyone's focused on facilities and money and all this stuff. The people is something that sometimes gets overlooked, and that's what the strength of BYU is all about.
This game out here's looked like a football game at times. Three shot is no good and out of bounds. Everyone will take a breath as Amayo misses from distance. Well, you're going to say goodbye to a lot of folks. Taysom Hill, Jamal Williams in the Senior Bowl today, Harvey Lange with an interception in the Senior Bowl, and at halftime we heard you acknowledge Lavelle Edwards as well, who has passed away, and so there'll be a lot of history and names that will be gone as you resume year number 2.
Yeah, and you know, we have a chance to honor Lavelle and honor the seniors that work so hard for you know, especially as a new coach for us and our staff coming in last year, being able to establish it, and they just made it so easy. And so I think the success that we have from here on out, a lot of it has to be mentioned that our seniors laid the foundation for all of it. And I think it'd be foolish of us not to acknowledge their hand in it. And I think they understand that, but I want to make sure that all the young guys understand all the hard work. And Lavelle made it all happen from the very beginning. So that's always going to be something that, and with my connection with him, he's always going to be a big part of what we do here at BYU.
All right, Kalani, we'll see you on Wednesday.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you for the
Appreciate
visit.
it. I'm going to go back
Kalani
to
Sitake, head
now.
football coach at BYU, is going to head back over to his seat. We'll be back in a moment. (59-51), 14:02 to go here in the second half. BYU at the lead. And a little of the momentum as it's gone back and forth that first 4 minutes, but the last phase of the game has favored the home team.
Well, and Loyola Marymount not able to knock down shots in this second half the way they did in the first. Just 4 of 12 here, 33% in this second half.
Mika out to Bayo. Bayo with an offensive foul. And the Cougars turn it over as Amayo hit the deck. Bayo picks up his third. Dave Rose, you can see him protesting the decision.
Well, I'm certain he's talking about, they talked about how the emphasis this year was if the offensive player generates the contact and enters into the cylinder of the defensive player in position. You know, and he's like, I don't know if he did that or not. I think it was probably a good call right there. He extended that forearm out, and I think that Amayo was in very good position.
Manuel to Haney. Bayo got over late, but got there just enough to disrupt. And an air ball for Haney, who's a very good three-point shooter. Emery hanging out in the corner. Bryant on the drive. Nobody there, leaves it for Mika. And Mika has it knocked away by Manuel. Another turnover. Brown at full speed, puts it in reverse. Jovanovic back to Brown. Emery rather, back into the game with those 3 personal fouls. Jovanovic, baseline. Now it's Brown. Brown finds his lane. Mika brings it down. Out to Emery. Cougars come quickly down the floor. Emery with the foul. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
Yeah, this game, this second half, has been played at a little more frantic pace, and
Yeah.
I thought it was physical in the first half. I think that physicality has raised the level as you see Emery doing a good job of veering to his left and creating the contact, but not picking up a charge there.
Missed free throw.
And Emery,
He's missed 2 free throws tonight.
he's a guy that has been very solid from the free throw line. 86% this season from the line, rarely misses, and as you mentioned, he's missed 2.
4 new players into the game for LMU. Shaw checks in, and Mika will sit down. Nick's second free throw. This one's in. BYU back up by 9. Emery with 11 points. He averages 14. Toch has been quiet for a few minutes. See if he can come up with something. Number 22.
We've got Jovanovic, one-on-one on a smaller player now, trying to take advantage of that by posting him up. But Shaw does a good job.
Shaw holds his ground. Elijah out of control. Byu with it, back to Bryant. Baseline. Now it's Childs. Jovanovic. This is about as ugly of a 2-minute sequence as we've seen all season.
Well, LMU plays with their very active hands.
And an air ball to keep it going.
There's Johansson, Eric Johansson with the air ball.
Everybody needs a timeout, so we'll take one. 11:53 to go. Cougars by 9 here on BYU TV. BYU basketball is brought to you by the BYU Store, the official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. Brady Industries, clean solutions, a tradition for generations. And by Ahern Equipment Rentals. Your next job is our priority. 60-51, BYU leading LMU with 11:53 to go. We want to welcome the newest member of the BYU TV sports family. The little one there is Sloan Leanne King, daughter of Caitlin and Spencer. Caitlin, one of our producers here at BYU TV. Born on Tuesday, everybody's doing good. I think Spencer's sleeping just fine.
I saw him in the gym this morning. He looked great. He didn't even have circles under his eyes, so maybe Caitlin's doing a little bit too much.
Probably doing too much.
Yep.
Anyway, congratulations to the King family. That's a very special occasion. Good-looking young lady. 9-point BYU lead. Full court pressure again from LMU. It's been on and off. Childs up over Jovanovic. Good-looking shot. Yoli with 8 points. BYU up 11, largest lead of the night. Elijah Bryant has been assigned to deal with Toch. Toch has got the ball right now. Swoops into the lane. Braden Shaw got a piece of him from behind. And that's going to send Toch to the line. Well, you may have noticed the coaches are in comfortable shoes tonight. Spencer.
Yeah, Dave, that's in support of the Coaches versus Cancer campaign going on nationwide. Dave Rose is a member of the Coaches versus Cancer Council that includes the likes of Mike Krzyzewski and Roy Williams and Jim Boeheim and some big-time coaches. He's also, not a lot of people know this, but he lobbied before Congress back in 2010 for more funding for cancer research. So Dave Rose, who overcame a rare form of pancreatic cancer not too long ago, is a big player in this campaign.
Spencer, thank you. More substitutions coming. BYU on a 10-2 run. LMU has missed their last 9 shots from the field. Toch hit a free throw a moment ago. He's at 16 points. And that's where he'll stay for the moment. Ball knocked out of bounds off of Johnson. 10-point lead, and the Cougars have the ball. Rose Talk about his achievements, fundraising, and creating awareness. He's also closing in on 300 career wins. And if he can hold on tonight, he's got a shot against most likely #1 Gonzaga here at home on Thursday night. What a night that will be.
Man.
BYU's never played a #1 team in the country. Knocked out of bounds. Good defense by the Cougars. Tutu is denied. The Lions will keep possession. We asked Mike Dunlap about Gonzaga if they're legit, and he says, look, they stay healthy, they're a legitimate Final Four team.
Yeah, they're so balanced. And he said, you know, he sees, they've always been very skilled offensively and very balanced. He said, but this team's got a nastiness about it that allows them to defend really, really well. And you combine that with how good they are offensively, and this is a team that could go deep, deep in the tournament and possibly to a Final Four.
Haney for 3. Got to hit that shot. Now he'll get a shot at a 2. And can't get that to go down. And Jovanovic is over the back of Childs. And that'll be number 4. Officials are taking all their own sweet time making that call. But that's number 4 on the big man for LMU.
And Haney saw Yoli Childs down low and changed that shot just a little bit in anticipation that the shot block would come. When he didn't come, he missed a shot, and then on the rebound, Childs got fouled. So sometimes just having a guy that's a shot blocker down inside changes shots even when he doesn't block the shot.
1-on-1 for Childs. Clangs off the back. Manuel on the rebound.
If Childs can transform his free throw shooting from his freshman to sophomore year the way Mika did, that would be something.
Johnson working on Mika. Reach in foul as Manuel ready to go up with a shot. That'll go against TJ Haas, his first. BYU can beat Gonzaga here Thursday night, but they got to be firing on all cylinders.
They'll have to be very good defensively, and they'll have to shoot lights out. And so it has to be one of those nights. But
Gonzaga's won the last 2 here, and strangely, BYU's won the last 2 in Spokane. But the difference this year is the first game of the series is here, as opposed to years past when BYU has won up there, come back here, and the motivation was just a little bit different. Gonzaga
the Zags with motivation and adjustments
and good players.
Yep. They always have that.
Well, that's Thursday. We'll settle this Saturday night battle first. Midway point of the second half, Cougars by 10. Out of bounds, it'll be BYU ball. Gonzaga, by the way, up 24-8 early on Pepperdine.
And if you follow the Zags this season, they're not just beating people, they're mauling people. I mean, they're handling everyone.
Well, for this young bunch of Cougars, it will be very interesting to watch. 9 o'clock local time on ESPN2, so the whole country will get to check it out. Haas draws contact, finishes the shot, and it will count. Chance at a 3-point play for TJ Haas as Stephen Haney picks up his second foul.
But playing through the contact, and Haas very decisive offensively here in the second half. He came out with a mindset that he was going to contribute. You see the contact there, defender moving, and then playing through that contact with focus, and some unusual missed free throws by Haas and Emery here.
18 for TJ. He had 20 at LMU in the first meeting. Johnson. Mika goes down. Johnson turns around and lays it in. 4 points for Johnson. Now it's Bryant. Leaves it for Mika. Chance at a 3-point play. That ball just crawled into the basket.
This was set up because Elijah Bryant played on attack. He goes and you see the defense rotate out because Bryant beats his man. Now Johnson has to rotate off of Mika to help, and it sets up a mismatch for Mika down low.
That's the 3rd foul on Shamar Johnson. BYU by 12. Mika was 16, looking for 17. Second leading scorer in the league. Lamont Murray passed him by a couple of days ago. But Murray's dealing with Gonzaga's defense, so a chance for Mika to get it back here tonight. Brown trying to shake Emery. Spins to the baseline. What quickness. Fight for the rebound. This is going to go against LMU. As they fight for the board, Manuel picks up the foul, knocking Gwynn on the head. Gwynn's got some blood to testify that it actually had happened, and Davin's going to come out.
And Gwynn had inside position in the rebound. You see how he's got the inside position, and now you see Manuel come over the top.
Watch that. Elbow right there.
And that's where he got him. And
so he's going to the locker room because he's bleeding. And so now a free throw shooter will be called on off the bench. And it's LJ Rose, who's a cool 87%. So he'll come in and shoot. And Gwynn will be attended to in the locker room. We saw that blood coming out. Had been a pretty good cut for blood to show up immediately. And Mike Dunlap's getting an explanation as to why Rose is coming in to shoot free throws. Now LJ will step up to the line. Senior out of Houston, the only senior on the team after Kyle Davis's injury took him out and ended his collegiate career. And so literally here, this is a man among boys. Cougars have a couple of players that are older because they've served missions, but that doesn't mean they've been playing basketball.
They're not more experienced than they haven't been playing the last couple of years. LJ Rose, as you mentioned, a very, very good free throw shooter. Excellent free throw shooter. He gets 2 free throws. LMU now with 10 team fouls, so every foul now on the Lions will be a 2-shot foul.
Rose on the miss. LMU's made just one of their last 14 shots. They're having their own experience of life on the road. Under 9 minutes to go. Brown.
BYU back in that 1-3-1 zone this time.
Haney to Johnson. Touch. Drives in. Loses it out of bounds. Knocked off of BYU. LMU keeps it with 6 seconds on the shot clock.
Koch had the right idea. The ball fake got BYU lunging. He got into the interior of that defense, but just couldn't control it.
Haney had to force it up with a shot clock winding down. 6 rebounds for Elijah Bryant. Mika back over to Bryant. Elijah waits for Eric to get in the position. Fade away, got it. Mika with 19.
That one's almost impossible to block or to defend because he's fading away at 6'10" with long arms.
Bryant knocks the ball away, but LMU recovers. Tutu is blocked. And here come the Cougars. Rose to Childs.
Yeah, Mika,
3 seconds in the lane.
was in the lane, too long, lane violation. We'll go back over to the Lions.
You know, a lot has been said about the youth and inexperience of this BYU team, and some people are tired of hearing about it, but you look at the 5 here on the floor, and none of them were playing college basketball last season. Rose was at Houston, but he was dealing with injuries the whole time. He might have played just a handful of games, and that's it for the 5 on the floor right now. And there's something to be said about youth and inexperience. And when they're experienced, they're going to be dynamic. It just might take a little bit longer than what a lot of people thought. Touch now with 18 points.
Boy, he has been outstanding in this ball game on the road. The road has not affected him.
Childs! Oh, he's fouled. He'll go to the line. Peter Herman checking into the game at 6'10", and he catches the brunt of Yoli Childs. We'll see him at the free throw line after this on BYU TV. The BYU Sports History Showcase is brought to you by the BYU Store. New Year's Eve afternoon in Los Angeles. Last time these two teams were together, LMU built up an 18-point lead. The Cougars went on an 11-0 run during the final 3 minutes. Mika, Emery, Haas, Childs, all in double digits. BYU had more fans in the house than the Lions did on the Lions' home floor, and they enjoyed a spectacular comeback as the Cougars win it 81-76. BYU Sports History Showcase brought to you by the BYU Store, your home for authentic BYU products. Talk about games decided by 7 points or less, and you could even go 1 point or less, and there've been 6 of them for LMU, but these guys are battlers, and the result is in the scores.
Yeah, 6 of the last 12 decided by 1 or less for this LMU team, and so it's a confident team that's a little bit, you know, they're a little bit frustrated, I would say. Confident that they've been able to play with everybody they've been playing, but not getting those close victories. And but it's a hungry team. I'll tell you what I like. I like what Mike Dunlap wants to do with his team is he's morphing this program into a program that is really athletic, gets up and down the floor, defends like crazy, and he's putting some three-point shooters out there on the floor. They're much better at the threes than they were last season.
He's signed 4 local guys that he's got high hopes for, and they're going to get better and better.
BYU in that zone. The zone has caused LMU some problems. They just haven't had their flow and been able to attack like they were. To get it down into that low right short corner that time.
Peter Herman's first bucket of the game. He's got 2 points. They're just 4 of 24 shooting threes.
Yeah, 1 of 9 here in the second half. So when that's happening, you have to kind of attack the basket, try to get to the line and get to the rim.
Rose to Childs. He's in a dunking mood tonight.
Yeah, he's going to go to the rim hard. He's trying to get on Sports Center tonight somehow. Got to make those, though.
3-point shot. This one goes down for Brown. A quick timeout. No, it's a whistle away from the ball. Brown with 13. The foul's going to go against BYU's Haas. And free throws coming for LMU, so a chance at a 5-point trip down the floor. As Toch will go to the line and shoot 1-on-1.
So take a look. Ball's out on the perimeter for the 3, and then there's the foul as Haas takes 2 hands and extends them and pushes. Ball's already in the air. They're going to give him the bucket, and then the foul happens after the shot, so it's a 1-and-1 as BYU now with 17 fouls.
Toch. Very smooth on that offering. He's got 19 points. He's a point shy of tying his career high. And for a 54% free throw shooter, and he's shooting right into the student section, he's showing us a lot tonight. 1 of 2. Free throws killed LMU in the second half in the first meeting. Part of the reason they blew their lead, they couldn't hit free throws. Well, they have missed, they're just 3 of 8 as Haney goes down and slams it in. For 12 points for Haney, but you throw those 8 points and all of a sudden you're ahead. Dave Rose calls a timeout. 6:30 to go in a 7-point game.
Well, you could see he was just so frustrated. He talked about at the half, lazy passes. You've got to be aggressive with the basketball. You cannot be careless with it. LMU, that's their MO. You're going to get in the passing lanes. You're going to get hands on the basketball. They want to take it from you. And so you've got to be strong with the basketball, and you got to be decisive and firm with your passes. That was a lazy pass.
8-0 run for LMU over the last minute.
And this is why they've stayed in every game. They have a very poised basketball team, a veteran basketball team that doesn't seem to get in a panic.
Thursday night, the Lions are at San Diego, and BYU's here against Gonzaga. And then Blaine and I are back with Spencer and the Cougars a week from tonight with Portland coming to town. Men's volleyball Friday night, UCLA ranked number 2, BYU ranked number 3. You can see it at 9 Eastern, 7 Mountain Time. Here on BYU TV, UC Irvine's been in town last night, tonight. Last night, a 5-set thriller that Irvine ended up winning. They're back at it in the Smith Fieldhouse as we speak tonight. And the Cougars, I'm just told, have defeated the Anteaters. So they only needed 3 sets tonight to take care of business. That's a big comeback after an emotional 5-setter last night as Mika goes up and drops it in.
Well, I don't know how you defend it much better than that. And that was Herman who was there, but that Mika just powering it through the defense. And BYU going to be in that 1-3-1 zone again.
21 for Eric Mika. Brown drops in another 3. He's got 16 points. Full court pressure now. 73-67. Emery looks for a lane to the basket. Up, leaves it short. Herman hands it to Tutu, quickly down the floor, touch. Matched up with Hawes, spinning baseline, steps out of bounds. Nowhere to go for Touch once he went to his left. And BYU gets the turnover. Now, it'll be Hawes bringing the ball up. 6-point lead. Herman and Mika fighting down low. Herman picks up the foul. Eric's going to go to the line. He's going to shoot 2. 40 fouls in this one. Dave Rose was right on the money when he said, we're going to have a lot of fouls here tonight.
Well, he knows the style that LMU plays with, and that's an aggressive defensive style. They're going to be physical with you, and so he knew that there'd be a lot of free throws as long as BYU played on attack.
Tommy Nunez Jr., Ryan Holmes, and LaDonte King are officiating crew here as Mika misses his first. He'll get a second. Manuel checks in, and Touch is going to come out for a moment. 5:20 to go.
Well-deserved rest, but they got to have him down long. He's been the catalyst for a lot of what they've done well in this ball game.
Mika misses both of them. And the Lions hanging around. We near the 5-minute mark.
It doesn't seem that long ago BYU was at 11 points, and it seemed like it was going to expand, that lead would expand. But LMU with some key plays defensively and converting on the offensive end.
Herman. Boy, Bryant coming around behind just about got it from him. Here's Brown, goes way up there. Fight for the rebound. Childs has got it, hands it over to Bryant. 7 rebounds for Yoli Childs. Bryant out of control, throws it in. Wow!
I don't know how he made that. He was trying to get fouled there, drew contact and threw it up, and with the no call, the ball just nestles in off the backboard.
Childs gets hit with putting his hip out there, and that's his 3rd. Free throws coming now for LMU.
18 fouls now on BYU, so LMU with over that 10 foul limit, so BYU's are all 2s. And
Brown at the line, 70%. He's had a good week. Misses there at 21 Thursday against Pacific.
Well, that's
been solid tonight.
Mike Dunlap talked to about missed free throws in the last BYU matchup, and the front end of a few 1-and-1s in that second half, and they missed the front end there.
Mika's fouled. He'll go back. Chance to hit some free throws where he just missed 2 in a row a moment ago. Jovanovic going to check in here in a second, and he'll come in with 4 fouls, but with 4:17 to go,
they need him.
Mike Dunlap needs him out there. Manuel picks up his 4th as Mika hits the free throw. .22 points for Eric and 7 rebounds. He comes in averaging 20 and 9.
Oh, and he's shooting a great percentage tonight, 7 of 10 from the field. He's 8 of 11 from that free throw line. Very efficient game for Eric Mika. He stayed out of foul trouble early, which was important for BYU.
Braden Shaw's in. Mika's going to come out for the moment.
Give him a little bit of a blow, and then there's just 17 seconds to the under 4-minute media timeout, so that'll give him a longer rest. So you maximize that 17 seconds out on the floor to get him 2 or 3 minutes of rest here.
Touch is going to come in, and Manuel's going to go out with those 4 fouls. Well, Mika struggled in the first half in LA, and we were asking Mike Dunlap, hey, what did you do that quieted Mika where so many teams haven't been able to? And he said, well, we got kind of lucky.
Yeah,
the double teams were working, and he was struggling there, but he goes, we got a little lucky that night. He hasn't been as fortunate tonight as Mika has been solid right from the start.
Well, and Mika got right out of his game early in that ball game because the defense created problems. He had an offensive foul and then another foul, and then he was on the bench with fouls. And good ball movement this time, and a great ball fake gets Bradeshaw off the ground. Haney finishes through the contact, and now will shoot 2.
91% on the year, but he came into the night having shot 12 free throws. Got other guys.
But he made 11. But he made 11.
Teams are going, look, whatever, don't foul Haney, and they haven't. He's made 13 free throws and 39 three-pointers this year.
So Mika got 12 seconds off. And
it was a good rest.
And I think they thought that possession would last a little longer. They'd get him to the under 4 timeout, but they're going to bring him back in on the offensive end here.
So Childs goes out. Shaw will stay in. Haas will maneuver through the defense. Toch is on him. Eric gives it back to TJ. Draws contact and a trip to the free throw line. He also has fouled out Jovanovic. That play might be much bigger than it seems at the moment, as Jovanovic is done for the day, and we're back in a moment. Fans having a good time on this Saturday night in the West Coast Conference. BYU leading LMU 77-69 with 3:54 to go, and there's the head football coach right in the middle of it. Our game summary presented by Deseret First Credit Union. Deseret First, your values, your timeline, your financial future. Another big night for the big man, Eric Mika.
Yeah, Mika's been so solid from the field, from the free throw line, 7 of 10. On the field goals, and been very solid from the line when he gets there. Just such a tough matchup. 7 rebounds and 4 blocks. He's been a menace defensively. And they use him in a lot of ways. They post him up, they bring him out and have him screen. Here's a classic pick and rolls. Mika comes from the high post down. He's going to screen for Emery. And when he slips that screen and rolls, that help defense is too late from Toch on the weak side. He's got to get down there and help. Now it's a mismatch. Toch fouls. He gets an and-one opportunity.
Haas at the free throw line coming out of the timeout. Haas has 19. Averages 13 on the year. 1 of 2 from the free throw line from that visit.
BYU has gotten to the line, but they have not been up to their normal standard in terms of percentages.
Now TJ.
Right around 60%.
Haas picks up his 3rd foul. And free throws coming for LMU. Well, we saw Davin Gwynn go out with blood on his hand and a cut on his head. Let's get an update, Spencer.
He's got some stitches, but I just talked to Kyle Davis behind the bench, and he said, look, it hurts and it's painful, but he's going to get a few dates this week because of that probably. So they were laughing about that. Also a note out of the timeout, what just happened to TJ Haas is exactly what BYU was trying to avoid. The coach is pleading with him to move your feet, avoid the cheap foul. Dave?
Spencer, thank you. Brown's free throw, crawls out. Another rebound for Childs. Yoli with 8 boards and 9 points. Bryant draws contact. He'll go to the line. And he'll shoot 2 as Jeffrey McClendon gets his 4th. Haney's up off the bench, ready to come in. Crunch time here in Provo in an 8-point game. BYU is just 22 of 36 from the free throw line tonight.
Well, Bryant, another good free throw shooter, 79% this season, but good free throw shooters have stepped up to the line and missed in this ball game for BYU.
Bryant rolling 7 points and 7 rebounds. Gets them both. BYU back up by 10. Brown quickly down the floor. Too fast. Loses his dribble and turns it over. That's speed when you outrun yourself.
Got a little ahead of himself that time and lost the handle.
Now Haas goes all the way in. Whistle and a foul. I'll call a travel on TJ. He's down on his belly under the basket. Now Dave Rose is up.
Well, let's take a look, because he picked that ball up way out.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then he got swatted.
It was a quick jab step and then 2 more steps. And so the travel came before the foul.
3:23 to go. Officials are on edge. It's never good when they're on edge. And they're going to come out and take a look at it. I think they're going to question the nature of the swat on the block.
But if you're making a play on the ball and you inadvertently hit somebody in the head, those things usually fly out there.
It does give BYU a chance to huddle up and regroup here. After a couple of bad trips down the floor, 3:23 to go. And also allows Haas to collect himself after taking that hit, driving to the basket.
And Mika was protecting this guy there. I don't know if you noticed that, Dave, but after the shot, Mika went right back at Manuel like, hey, I got to protect my boys out here. So watch Mika. He goes and says, hey, don't hit my guy in his head, all right?
Sure,
have a little bit of discussion. Hey, you're the big guy on the floor. You got to be a bit of an enforcer. Have some nastiness to you.
He's had a big night, 23 points.
He's the Dolph Lundgren on the floor, right?
Yeah, he was tough in that move. Officials are still huddling up. That's why we're doing a song and dance ourselves. BYU 11-1 here at the Marriott Center. Chance to get to 12 and then roll out the welcome mat for Gonzaga next Thursday night. When the polls come out, the Bulldogs should be ranked #1 in the country. Be the first time BYU's played a #1 team. And this place will be nuts as they're discussing. There's the rules for flagrant 1 and flagrant 2. I don't think this is going to be anything.
Well, and here's the thing, that the travel came before the foul anyhow.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't going to, unless it was flagrant, and it's just, it wasn't going to be a common foul. And so.
So after all that, LMU's going to have the ball out of bounds.
And as we thought, he was making a play on the basketball. He was trying to go get the block, and his arm contacted the head of Hawes, but it was after the travel.
Emory going to apply some pressure. Now will retreat as Brown brings it up the floor. This is kind of where BYU was in LA last month when they made their move and won the game. Johnson with the left hand off the glass and in.
Really good play, a little screen and roll down to the basket by Johnson with the finish.
Johnson with 6. 3 minutes to go. Bryant. Here's Emory. Up for 3. A foul on the rebound. That's going to go against LMU, and it's Johnson. So the Cougars are bailed out on the missed 3. They're going to get some free throws as Johnson picks his 4th. Dave Rose not happy with some of the decisions he's seeing out there.
Yeah, I don't think he was happy with shot selection on that one. There was still time left on that shot clock, and they get bailed out of that a little bit because Mika had inside position again and got pushed under the basket, gets a chance to step up to that free throw line.
24 for Mika. Hit 31 here against San Francisco. That's his career high. 47 combined fouls in this game. And LMU, you see the trouble they're in. BYU lead back to 10. Manuel over to Haney. Touch, looks into Johnson. Jovanovic has fouled out. And Manuel is fouled on the drive. It'll be against Childs, his fourth. That'll send Manuel to the free throw line.
The fourth personal foul for Yoli Childs.
Just doing some quick math here. It's like there's been 51 baskets made, and what do we got, 49 fouls?
48?
That might be, yeah, 48.
48 fouls.
Some fuzzy math, but gives you an idea. Manuel is 1 for 5 at the line.
And that's one of the things that Mike Dunlap talked to us about, and this is a guy, Manuel, that is a solid free throw shooter. He should be stepping up and knocking those down.
Haas loses the ball. Here comes LMU. Touch, challenges Mika. Bryant is in to clear out the rebound. Now it's Emery on the run. Has it knocked away.
Johnson with the block there.
Here comes LMU. A couple of good defensive efforts on both ends. Under 2 minutes to go. It's still a 10-point game. Haney for 3. Got it. Haney now is 17. And the lead cut to 7. BYU wants a timeout.
That'll leave BYU with 1 timeout. Mike Dunlap has 2 left for his LMU Lions.
23 turnovers for BYU. Then 21 against Bakersfield. That's been the most. That was back on December 22nd. It's the most since then. And Dave Rose not too happy, but look what he's done here as he chases Stan Watt's all-time record. If he can hang on here tonight, it'll be 299. Chance at 300 against Gonzaga on Thursday. And that just speaks for itself.
And what will this place be like when the Zags come in here? If they can hang on for this one and the Zags come in here with a chance to be #1 in the country at that point.
Well, Rose, you figure if he stays healthy, he's healthy now, that before most of these players are graduated, he'll have passed Stan Watts. And well, I tell you, nobody thought anyone would pass Stan Watts. That's why his name is up in the rafters. He's a Hall of Famer in college basketball. Spencer.
Well, hopes are high when Gonzaga comes to this building on Thursday because Dave Rose, as the head coach of BYU, has 179 home wins to only 18 losses. Now, the interesting fact about the 18 losses is his very first home game as coach at BYU was a loss to none other than LMU. And Dave said, you never forget about your first home game, guys.
We were talking about that with the LMU crew today. Anthony Ireland was dazzling. That game was here on BYU TV, and he wowed everybody. And the Lions got that rare victory here in Provo. Tonight, minute 46 to go, and LMU's on a 7-point deficit. BYU trying to hang on.
When Dave Rose, I'm certain, talked to this BYU team about being strong with the basketball here. LMU going to be very aggressive defensively, looking to get in those passing lanes. Firm passes, and you come to receive those passes.
Emery is out, Bayo is in. Shot clock's at 7. Childs is fouled. He'll go to the line. Boy, a nice last-second dish from Haas to Yoli down on the block. And Childs will go to the free throw line.
Childs was coming out. He was the high ball screener and then rolled to the basket. It's like you draw it up, sealed the defender on the outside, and Hawes got him the basketball.
Number 5 on Shamar Johnson, so he will leave the game here momentarily.
Childs has been right about his average from the free throw line in this ballgame. He's 3 of 6 as he steps up to the line here.
Emery's going to check in for Childs. Free throws, you know, Yoli's at 57%, so he will be a target by LMU here down the stretch as he hits the first. Emery at 85%, so Yoli's out and Emery will be in if he hits this one. And he'll have to stay out for the moment. 10 points for Yoli Childs. Touch. Good defense by BYU. LMU using a lot of time. Haney, shot clock's at 12. They'll go inside to Herman, swatted by Childs, and Haas has got it. Down the floor, Bryant pulls it back out. Under a minute to go. 8-point game. LMU choosing not to foul. We got a timeout.
The shot clock just froze at 30 and didn't run at all.
So they'll clear the floor, they'll huddle up, and they'll go to work on.
Yeah, once BYU got that possession after the block shot by Yoli Childs, the shot clock never ran from that point. So
Childs with 10 points and 8 rebounds. He's done that just about every game. There's been some times out on the road where as a freshman he has froze. But you look at his body of work for a guy who didn't start the season as a starter. Kyle Davis, the senior, was supposed to be there. And then Davis is out with the injury. Here comes a Bingham High School star, and what a compliment to Eric Mika's game.
Well, and they've done a really good job. Mika and Yoli Child defensively work very well together. And then they've done really well offensively with interior passing. High-low post game has been very solid.
Hey, we want to give a shout out to Tina Gunn and Paul Westhead. Earlier this week, the West Coast Conference announcing those two will be among the inductees for the Hall of Fame class when we get down to Las Vegas in March. Tina Gunn, still today, the Cougars' all-time leader in points scored and rebounds. And Paul Westhead, 5 years at LMU, but for 3 of those, he had the #1 scoring team in the country. And they'll be inducted Saturday, March 4th at the Orleans Arena. John Stockton will be inducted representing Gonzaga. That's a great class.
Man, yeah, what a great class.
Shot clock's been adjusted to 11. And Byu will throw it to Hawes. Now at 3, Bryant looks up, launches a 3. Mika's there, pulls it down, puts it back up and in. 27 for Mika. Back to a 10-point lead. One of the dominant centers in college basketball, fresh off his 2-year church mission. And going nowhere but up for Eric Mika. 50th foul of the game right there, and it's on Mika. Boy, imagine Eric next year as he continues to fine-tune his game. This is going to be an exciting program moving forward.
BYU, before this free throw, 21 more free throw attempts than LMU. So they're 13 of 24 now for LMU, and BYU was 28 of 44. 44 free throw attempts, Dave.
Emery comes back in, and Gwynn's back in. He got patched up and returns to the floor, which is nice to see. Childs and Byu check out. Touch with 21, a career high for Boy Touch. And what a show he has put on. Elijah Bryant, shot clock's off. Bryant back from Hawes, and the Lions are going to let it go. BYU will improve to 16-7 on the year. 7-3 in the WCC, 12-1 at home. LMU drops to 10-11 and 3-7 in the league. The Cougars win at 85-77. And Dave Rose picks up career win number 299.